Hi, my name is Paola. I make videos about albinism for people with albinism so that we can live better with our condition. This is the millionth time that I've filmed this. But this is also albinism. That's the new name, guys. This is albinism. So anyway, skin cancer. Woo! Our favorite subject, skin cancer. Skin cancer shows up most commonly on exposed skin. It can show up where the sun don't shine. It can show up on your genitals. It can show up on the bottom of your feet. But more often than not, it shows up on exposed skin. So on your scalp, your face, your lips, your ears, your neck, your chest, your arms, your hands. So last week we talked about the first line of defense, which is, not exposing anything, just staying indoors when it's reasonable to. Sunscreen should be thought of as the last line of defense. We'll call the second line of defense here clothing and accessories. Clothing and accessories has quite a few different advantages over SPF. So for one, really protective clothing can be many times more protective than any SPF. Clothes are inherently broad spectrum. Letting my nephew know that I'm getting attitude. But anyway, broad spectrum, yeah. Clothes are inherently broad spectrum, so they protect both against UVA and UVB. UVA is associated with aging. UVB is associated more with burns. Both have been linked to skin cancer, though. There's less room for user error, so no risk of not applying enough. Most people, when they apply sunscreen, they don't apply enough. You're not going to miss a spot. You don't have to remember to reapply. Also, it saves you time and money because it's a one-time investment and you don't have to put sunscreen under protective clothing. So, UPF. UPF is Ultraviolet Protection Factor. UPF is for clothing what SPF is for sunscreen. It is the rating system that lets us know how protective, a garment is. Not all clothes have advertised UPF, but all clothes have UPF. The advantage of clothes that have advertised UPF is that they tend to be high performing, so they're very protective, but also breathable and wearable in the summer months. So just so that we understand UPF, a UPF of 50 means that 1/50th of the UV is getting to you. So that's a protection of 98%. There's a legal limit to how much UPF a brand can claim. Same thing with SPF. SPF. I know how to words. Same thing with SPF. There's a legal limit, and that legal limit is 50, but a garment can be much more protective than 50. So for example, jeans can be a UPF of 1700. UPF is based off of the worst case scenario. So the clothes are flesh against your skin and the sun is hitting you directly. So everywhere else is getting even more protection. I'm going to talk more about clothes next week and a bit more about accessories later on in this video. But right now, I want to tell you guys about something that really changed up the game for me, and that is parasols. Parasols are umbrellas that are specifically designed for the sun. You've seen parasols before on picnic tables, or people will plant them in the sand and at the beach. And but there are portable ones that you can carry around. It's more common to see people carry them around in parts of Asia and parts of the Middle East. But for the record, I have seen fair-skinned people here in the States using parasols. They were more common here in the 19th and 20th century, the early 20th century, so the early 1900s and the 1800s. But those old-fashioned ones, to be clear, are not terribly effective. They're very small, and they have holes in their design, both literally and figuratively. So if you see one in an antique shop, not good for practical purposes. The modern ones are much better. Let me show you mine. This is my baby. My first parasol was, look how beautiful. My first parasol was just a black rain umbrella, and a black rain umbrella will block out 90% of UV. It's pretty good. And other colors of just plain say rain umbrellas, if you wanted to use that, block out 3/4, so decent. But this thing, man, this thing. My first two parasols, like specifically advertised parasols, were pink, and this one, so I went with a blue one this time. And this one is really cool because it is 2 layers. So this 2-layer advanced technology, man, that 1-layer archaic nonsense, I'm leaving it in the past. Like, this 2 layers, what's up? I really feel a difference. And another cool thing about this is that it collapses the correct way. So it hasn't happened yet, but if a strong breeze were to hit it, it would just make it go into its natural resting position. And yeah. Oh, the handle. Yeah, so, you know, if you need to use your keys, you can just hang it on your wrist. Really cool. Oh, so yeah, going outside is as easy as grabbing my chanclas. I keep this by the door. I keep my UV protective sunglasses as well by the door. I'm gonna make several videos, I'm sure, about eye health. But yeah, my UV protective sunglasses and my parasols by the door. So going outside is as easy as like just grabbing my chanclas. And then like this, my hands, my face, all protected. I know it's a bit of a fashion statement. Well, personally, I like it. I think it looks really cute. I feel like I look like a precious thing, which is the case. But I also feel like it's kind of a visual indicator that I take my skin health very seriously. And that's, I mean, you know, more times than not, that's probably in my best interest for people around me to know that I take it seriously, because maybe they'll take it more seriously. Know that I mean business. I want to challenge the notion that it's out there, though, that it's like a big fashion statement, like that it's maybe weird or strange. So with global warming, scientists predict that skin cancer rates are going to continue to climb. So if it's not the fashion of today, it's going to be the fashion of tomorrow. I'm calling it 2021. If you're a man watching this video, then I definitely understand if you feel hesitant. Fair enough. But if you have any inkling to want to try it, I would really encourage you to. I feel like we live in a very different world now. When I was in high school, gender bending and challenging gender roles and all of that was really some niche back of the internet type of thing. But nowadays it's so mainstream, and I've met plenty of dudes, straight dudes, that care about their appearance, who, you know, put pomade in their beard, you know, whatever. They do some grooming, they care about fashion, they take care of their skin, and, you know, they'll be open about it. We live in a very different world. I don't know. I can say, me personally, I wouldn't find it weird to see a guy caring about his skin. In general, skincare has really blown up, hasn't it? Like, the last couple of years, TikTok, YouTube, everybody has a skincare routine now. People know to use sunscreen. The generation that are adults right now are the ones that grew up with that heavy messaging around sun care. So like in the 80s and 90s, there was a push to educate about sun care. So those kids are now adults. So yeah, I'm gonna die on that hill. I'm serious, y'all. It's normal. So anyway, if you want to give it a shot, some considerations would be, one, if it's windy, then it can kind of, you know, stink to use it, because you're gonna get an arm workout, that's for sure. And it's gonna test the integrity of the parasol. So worth it to invest in a sturdy one, especially if you live in a breezy, like a very windy area. And another thing to keep in mind is that you're still getting diffuse UV. So being outside is still being outside, you know. It's going to hit other surfaces, the UV, and bounce and still get to you, you know. But the same is true of hats. So an alternative to parasols would be hats. I mean, a hat is essentially a parasol that you wear on your head. The advantage of hats being that it's probably protecting your scalp more for sure. But it's also like gonna make you hotter because it's right against your head. It's gonna make you sweaty, whereas a parasol, easy breezy. Can you guys tell that I really like parasols? So yeah, the hats, depending on how extreme your adventure is going to be, there are different options. So there are hats that have like neck flaps and face covers. One other thing about hats that I'll say is that if I mean, the main advantage of hats being that it's going to protect your scalp, then visors and the hats that have like mesh, that's kind of defeating the purpose, right? And of course, the wider the brim, the better. The more of your nose, lips, everything, neck that it's shading, the better. One other accessory that I'll mention here is that you can buy sleeves just by themselves, just sleeves. So you can wear a t-shirt, have the easy breeziness of a t-shirt, and then just have sleeves on. And they sell sleeves that have thumb holes. So that's really cool because then you're covering the tops of your hands. And if you're active, if you're an athlete, those things are particularly good because they provide compression, you know, the same way that joggers do. So I'm going to talk more about all of this next week. But before you go, just really quick, I just want to mention last week I lost my dog. And I just want to dedicate this episode to him. He is my baby son man, friend child, dog man, son friend child, husband, love of my life. I am so honored that I got to take care of you. I love you forever, baby. My Danny. All right, I'm not going to cry. All right, bye. See you next week.